how to tell if a man is settling into the relationship or drifting. Have you ever been in a relationship where everything looked fine from the outside, but something inside you kept asking, is this actually going somewhere? Not because anything dramatic happened, not because he did something obviously wrong, but because you could feel the difference between a relationship that's building and one that's slowly becoming less than it was. That feeling has a name, and today we're going to talk about it. But first, I need to bring someone back. This is Love Decoded, the podcast where smart Black women finally understand what's really happening in their relationships and learn how to respond with clarity in ways that create more love, respect, and commitment. Because when love is clear, confusion disappears. You remember Maya? After 2 years of giving more, of stepping up, adjusting, and hoping things would stabilize, Maya reached a point where she had one question. Is he getting more serious or is he slowly drifting away? And the hardest part, from the outside, nothing looked clearly wrong. If you've ever asked that same question, this episode is going to give you the answer. And if these conversations help you see your relationship more clearly, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Share it with a woman in your life who deserves more clarity in love because every episode strengthens your clarity and your confidence in love. Most women don't struggle because relationships are obviously bad. They struggle because the relationships change in subtle ways, not dramatically, gradually. And gradual change is the hardest to recognize because your mind adjusts to it while your feelings start questioning it. And that gap between what your mind accepts and what your feelings know is where confusion starts. A man doesn't just decide to become more serious, and he doesn't randomly lose interest either. What's actually happening is this. He's responding to the pattern of the relationship, and that pattern determines whether he is settling in or drifting away. Let me show you the difference. Settling in. Danielle had been with Chris for about 18 months. She wasn't sure early on where things were going. He wasn't dramatic about his feelings. He didn't make big declarations. But over time, she noticed something. He started following through on small things. And if he said he'll call, he called. And if he made a plan, he showed up. He started including her in his thinking, not just his schedule. He never announced that he was getting more serious, but his behavior became more stable, more consistent, more grounded. And most importantly, Danielle didn't have to guess where she stood. She felt it. That's what settling in looks like. Now back to Maya. Marcus didn't suddenly disappear, but slowly, almost invisibly, his consistency changed. His communication got shorter. His effort became less predictable. And Maya did what many women do. She gave more, trying to restore what used to feel natural. But the more she gave, the less stable things felt. That's what drifting looks like. Not a dramatic exit, a quiet, gradual withdrawal that only becomes obvious once you know what to look for. When he's settling in, consistency increases, not just in what he says, but in what he does. Effort feels natural, not performed, not pressured. You feel emotionally secure, not because you are guessing right, but because you're not guessing at all. You're not analyzing. You're experiencing clarity. When he's drifting, predictability decreases. The things that used to be consistent start having exceptions. You start giving more to maintain what used to be effortless. You begin emotionally guessing, reading into messages, replaying conversations, looking for signals. And that's where overthinking begins. Not because you're anxious, because the pattern stopped being clear. The difference between settling and drifting is not effort. It's not words. It's not even intention. It's the pattern. Because settling creates stability and drifting creates uncertainty. And the pattern always tells the truth, even when everything else is confusing. Now, this is where everything connects. Every relationship is operating inside a love type, whether you are aware of it or not. You are either in a love security relationship where stability is naturally present, a love harmony relationship where the relationship feels balanced and leans positive, or a love disarray relationship where effort increases but stability never quite falls. And here's what most women are never told. Your love type has more influence on your relationship than your love language. Because in love disarray, it doesn't matter which love language you express love. The pattern will still return uncertainty. And in love security, even imperfect communication still produces stability. Danielle and Chris were in love security. The pattern was always building. And even when it was quiet, Maya and Marcus had shifted into love disarray. And the more Maya gave, the more the pattern reinforced the imbalance. That's how powerful love type is. So the question is not, what is he doing today? The real question is, what direction is this relationship moving in? And even deeper, what love type has this pattern created? Because once you know that, everything starts to make sense. Once a woman understands her love type, she starts reading the pattern. She's no longer disturbed by the moments. She's no longer unraveled or obsesses over why he texts less today. She understands what the pattern is producing and responds to that. And that shift from reacting to responding is where her influence in the relationship actually begins. Because when you see your love type clearly, you stop being moved by every moment. You start shaping the direction. And if you've ever felt like Maya, unsure whether a relationship is building or quietly dissolving, it's not because you are overthinking. It's because something in the pattern hasn't become clear yet. Maya felt that for 2 years until she understood her love type. She stopped adjusting on instinct and started responding with clarity. And the relationship had to respond to that. That's what clarity does. It doesn't just help you understand what's happening, it changes how you show up. And when you change how you show up, the pattern has to respond. A man doesn't become serious by accident, and he doesn't drift by accident either. He responds to the patterns of the relationship. That pattern forms the love type, and that love type determines the direction of love. Love follows patterns, not effort. And that pattern forms the love type of the relationship. And once you see the pattern, you can see the direction. And once you see the direction, you can decide how to respond. Because love does not rise to effort alone. It settles into the structure of the relationship. This is Love Decoded. I am Albus, and if you want more clarity about the patterns shaping your relationship, go to unlockreallove.com. Your clarity is waiting because once you understand the pattern, you stop guessing in love.